I can hear my baby knocking, too tired to let her in. I'm tired. Yeah, 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 I'm tired. Too tired. Too tired for anything. Too tired to walk. Too tired to run. I can hear my baby
Don't
calling. Too
confuse
tired
Albert
to
Collins with Albert King, which is what I did. Albert Collins was a blues guitarist and singer from Texas who was the cousin of Lightning Hopkins. And he has become known or became known for his distinctive style and tone, known as Master of the Telecaster. His first studio album was released in 1965. His last, which was his 10th, was released in 1991, a couple of years before he died. However, he has released 16 live albums. Hi, my name's Dan. So, this is a review of the album Ice Pickin', which is a studio album by Albert Collins and was his sixth studio album and is considered to be his breakthrough album. And it's my first time listening to it. So, actually, I've heard Albert Collins playing only a little bit, though, many times, because he guests on one of my favourite live blues albums, which is Gary Moore's Blues Alive, an old favourite of mine. I've had it for years, played it many, many times, and he guests in that concert on Too Tired, which is actually a track on this album as well. So I would describe this album blues, specifically as Texas Electric Blues, mostly because I'm reading that from the Acclaimed music thing. Yes, Electric Blues, how Texas Electric Blues differs from any other Electric Blues, I don't know. If you know, please let me know in a comment. It has lots of similarities to other kind of blues rock stuff that was around at the time, Guitar Hero stuff, like Eric Clapton and Gary Moore, and others. Out of those two, I would say Gary Moore is very close in style, particularly in playing style, not necessarily in sound used. So there are elements of blues, there's elements of R&B, there's a big rock band sound, and his guitar tone has to be talked about because it's an important part of his career, but it's also an important part of this album. He's got a high, clear tone that cuts through. Now, apparently, this was somewhat achieved by the nature of the guitar and by modifications that he made to the guitar, but also by using an unusual tuning and then putting capos on higher frets. So he actually plays an instrument that is effectively tuned higher as a result. There's a comment that I've always liked about Bix Beiderbecke that he played like bullets from a bell, and I feel like that description really works for Albert Collins' guitar playing. It's piercing in this kind of sense, and also it has a kind of coldness to the sound. I think that's partly because of the clarity of it, but it's also the nature of the harmonics that are in the sound that he's got. And I know from looking at this album, but also names of other albums and other tracks when I read up on him, that he's played on this thing of coldness over the years. And so, the name of this track, Ice Picking, and sorry, the album, and there is a track called Ice Picking on it. And I get it. I understand where that kind of uh, that feeling of iciness and cold comes from. Um, his style of playing is very classic kind of blues, some nice kind of subtlety in his ornamentation at times. I would say that, I mean, I've referenced Gary Moore a couple of times now, but I would say I referenced BB King here as someone who has a similar style of playing at times. I want to shout out to the band here, the rest of the band, because they're so good. The bassist and drummer, especially, and I hear bass, I realize more than other people do because I play bass. And I play drums a bit as well. But the kind of the the feel of the playing between the bassist and the drummer can be really important for some kinds of music, and it is here. The piano player also plays a great supporting role here. but the rhythm section has a great feel to them. And I would compare it to the quality of some classic backing bands, studio bands, Wrecking Crew, Muscle Shoals, Booker T and the MGs, were in that kind of level of quality of how good the sound is that they produce. His singing's okay. It's not too distinctive. It works fine for what he's doing. He's got a fairly high voice, which again suits alongside his playing. Although it'd be interesting if he had a low gravelly voice doing that alongside the high picking. That might kind of overlap in a different way, which might be interesting. But he doesn't. He has had the voice that he had. Songs, we got a few of them are his, and so there's some by some others. And I'm actually going to claim that for this album, the quality of the songs on the album is better than most of this type of blues. Most of them are quite generic in terms of content, but there's songs on here that are less generic, and particularly the songs with a good amount of humour on them. There's a little bit on the kind of misogyny side here. This was the 70s, so kind of need to view it with a lens of that distance, I think. Probably my favourite song is Master Charge, which is a great song about credit cards. It's also a really nice funksome groove that they get going on that. So probably my favourite track on the album. I also like Conversation with Collins and Honey Hush. They're both quite humorous, and I can imagine. I read it here in the stuff that I read, but I can just imagine that he was fun live because the kind of feeling that he brings to these songs and the humour and the kind, yeah, you kind of, and particularly on Conversation with Collins, where he has interaction with the band, you can feel that could be an interaction with the audience, and that could work really well. So I loved it. It was a great blues album. It had more to it than some of the blues albums, and it has this extra dimension of having some songs that have a bit of interest and oomph behind them. As always, though, I'd love to invite you to tell me what you think of the album. What do you think of Albert Collins? What do you know about him that I haven't brought out? Um, I always love to hear these things from people. We have a nice community going here on my channel, so why not join in, contribute to that? But that's it from me for now.
My wife has a charge card that I got it the other day. I owe $500 just for yesterday. I said, honey, here's a present. Go out and shop around. Get a couple of dresses and browse around down